Hello guys. NIO recent collaborations for battery swap promise financial gains and standardized infrastructure, heralding smoother expansion and operational efficiency. So friends, the news is that NIO has recently entered into a major agreement with a new partner regarding battery swap. Now you might be wondering how NIO will benefit financially from these partnerships. Before revealing the name of this new partner and details of their agreement, let's first see what the CEO has said about the benefits of these partnerships for NIO. And all of this is very important for NIO shareholders. So let me first tell you what the CEO has said. We have launched our 6th dozen stations and signed many contracts for battery swap stations. Will Williams start opening battery swap stations for franchising or investment? The direction with battery swap stations is such because everyone knows that we are still advancing research and development. Currently, the whole company is on a profitable path, even though by the end of last year, we had over 50 billion won in cash. There are many areas that need funds, so initially, our battery swap stations were self-funded, and we built over 2,000 swap stations. Our next step will be to treat these battery swap stations as fixed assets and search for external borrowing or partnerships. For example, we signed an agreement with NIO Energy Group in January and with Zhong Energy. And we announced a strategic cooperation with Nan Wang on 26 August, which essentially means that we will build battery swap stations together. They will construct the swap stations, and we will operate them. The operation will be ours, and the battery swap station will be theirs. This is basically the model. So if you look at our cooperative partners, they are generally state-owned and relatively wealthy enterprises. Their specified costs are quite low, and they want to keep these assets. In reality, they see us and say, just like our factories, the land and buildings are all state-owned investment brands that have been kept for us to lease. Spending money on this doesn't make sense for us. It's most appropriate to spend funds on research and development. Spending on fixed assets is not the most efficient, so we will continue such cooperations. However, our real openness is towards external state-owned enterprises and large businesses. So when we collaborate with private businesses and individuals, we need to exercise more caution. In different ways, we will take one step at a time. If our business is very stable, if people are ready to do this work, then we will also explore some methods. Then, of course, we want to do this. How can I say it specifically for myself? I don't have a passion for doing business. This has always scared me. Ultimately, if the business doesn't go well, friendships and other relationships also suffer, creating more problems. So if we want to do this, we want these things to become easier. While doing business with other companies, everyone assesses their risks. Everyone has the capabilities required to do business with you. Caution is necessary. Alright then, thank you. This is all said by the CEO of NIO. Alright, friends. NIO is moving forward to build swap stations in collaboration with government-backed state-owned enterprises, especially energy grid companies. This is a significant step with benefits for both parties. Firstly, NIO gains more swap stations, which is straightforward. Secondly, there's a reduced cash expense as they don't have to spend money on building swap stations. And thirdly, there's swap standardization. We've seen NIO CEO mention that the NIO government has already promised to deliver 1,000 swap stations. This is remarkable. 1,000 swap stations, and then southern China. They also have an agreement to partner and build swap stations together with Joanne. And today, alright, these are the partners. Well, actually, they signed with Suzhou Power Grid just yesterday. So, the State Grid Suzhou Power Supply Company and NIO Energy have signed a cooperation agreement in Suzhou. The plan on both sides is to enhance cooperation, charging, swapping services, and virtual power plants, such as adjusting the capacity of flexible resources for electric vehicles. They aim to explore vehicle network interaction standards, provide benefits for more new energy vehicles to access the power grid, and jointly commit to constructing new power systems. So, of course, there are many benefits for these partners in choosing and partnering with NIO for these swap stations. For example, these partners will receive a fixed return from swap revenue. So, of course, these state grid companies have their charging systems. But they will also have these public swap stations, and they will earn some revenue from battery swaps as well. This is quite capital intensive. However, these state-owned companies, energy grid companies, are very wealthy, and according to their risk assessment, this is not at all a brainless decision. Besides fixed returns, they also have swap revenue. And along with that, they have self-grid stabilization, along with additional energy trading revenue, meaning they can stabilize their grid. We have seen that in 2022, there was a blackout in Sichuan during the summer because of a major power imbalance in the energy grid. With this, they can reduce that risk and also make some money. They can store electricity in swap stations when it's cheap and sell it when it's expensive. This way, they have the option to do this work themselves. There are many benefits in this, and another big benefit is that there are no operating headaches. If they had to do this themselves, it would be quite difficult. But NIO manages all these things. They just have to pay, and then forget it. NIO handles everything. Wow, this seems like a perfect deal. And this, by the way, is categorically the correct way of investment. It makes sense for them to invest their spare money in this, rather than buying shopping malls or investing in movie production. It doesn't make sense for state grids to do such projects. And charging is quite crowded. So this is a very good area for them to invest in, where a good fixed return can be seen. Now, one potential thing that could create complications is fruit battery swaps, which some early NIO owners have. Don't worry now, it's okay. But remember, initially when NIO was building its own swap stations, it's like a company providing free petrol to you, but they are also building those gas stations. So that's a huge expense. But now they are building swap stations, and NIO was only providing free battery swaps. So basically, I understand how this will work. If I go to a public swap station and swap, it will still be free for me. But NIO will pay the bill. But at the end of the day, this is still cheaper for NIO than building their own swap stations, right? The cost of one swap station is approximately 1.5 million RMB. Maybe for Gen 4 swap stations, this is even more expensive. But with 1.5 million RMB and an average energy consumption of 60 kilowatt-hours per swap and energy cost of 80 cents to 1 RMB per kilowatt-hour, you can provide 25,000 free swaps with the saved money from building one swap station. Alright, and besides, NIO won't have to worry about renting swap stations, so NIO is pushing for swap standardization. This is what's going to happen in the upcoming swap station game. This is significant. These big energy companies, government-backed, are supporting NIO, and the swap train is smoothly moving ahead, which is really amazing, my friends. So investors can expect more swap stations, lower capex, and future standardization. This is very good, friends. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more stock predictions and market insights. Remember to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Happy investing, and see you in the next video.